your host, Indiana's own Dana Black, coming to you live, live from Black Pearl Studios. Yes, so that we are always have a place to talk about Indiana politics from the left side of things. We already know that other side got a whole bunch of big mouths, but it's our job to make sure that our voices are being heard in Indiana. We are not taking any chances. We're going to make sure that our voices are heard. All right. You know I got a rant. So did y'all check out the Indianapolis Star article today about the virtual schools and how they've, I had to print the article off because it was just like, it made me not happy. And they said, You know, I like call and response, honey. I went to a Baptist church too.
That's right.
So apparently the initial $40 million that the Virtual School Corporation stole from tax-paying citizens like ourselves, that number was a little minuscule. It turns out it was over $85 million that was taken from the public education, public teachers, and given to essentially corporations who were either vendors or administrators of public schools. Now, of course, we already know that they falsified how many students were actually enrolled in these schools, so they lied about that. In many cases, when they were writing checks and doing wire transfers and electronic transfers, they didn't even have any invoices. They just distributed all of y'all's money, mine too, to organizations that had absolutely nothing to do with educating people, educating students. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I've been talking about this education thing, and making sure our teachers are paid for a while now. I know a lot of people have. They had the Red for Ed rally. We've been having these discussions. But here's why. I know that there's some people who like, but Dana, my child went to this particular charter school or this particular voucher school, and they were able to excel. But Dana, my child went here, and they were able to do this, that, and the other. I want you to think about how far $85 million could have gone to public schools and the students and the teachers in these public schools. Those are the people who are being shortchanged. See, for every one or two students who may have benefited from charter, virtual, and vouchers and all of that, there are whole school systems that are now with less money in their pot because of this fraud and abuse. Now, a lot of us knew when Mitch Daniels was coming up with his voucher program, we knew what it was. See, y'all have to remember, certain type of minds look at things and say, well, what is a commodity? What is something that I can make money off of? I mean, there's obviously oil and textiles and hair products. There's all these things. But trends change, right? Eventually we're going to run out of coal. According to, except if you're in the Indiana legislature, right. You don't think coal is ever going to run out, and you don't want the coal plants to shut down for renewable energies. Right. Another story for another day. But there are some people who say, okay, how can I maximize how much money I make? What is something that is renewable and does not go away? One thing is for certain, people are going to keep having kids. They're going to keep making babies, and those babies have to be educated. And there is a way to maximize a profit on human beings. That's why health care is so expensive. What they have done is essentially turn our public education system into what our health care system is. The more money you have, the better service you will get. If you don't have any money, you have to stay where you at. Good luck to you. Hopefully there's a community hospital, in this case a public school, that will accommodate your needs. And people talk about, well, Dana, private schools and parochial schools, they have better numbers than public education. That's because, A, they get to pick and choose who actually attends those schools. Because if you're a gay person and you want to send your child to a parochial school, you might want to second guess that, because they will turn you away. Senator J.D. Ford has a bill in the Senate right now about, we're not going to give you any public dollars if you discriminate against people who are gay or whatever. This is what's happening. The whole goal was to privatize public education. The other thing was, if you had enough money to send your child to a quality school, what do you do with all the other kids whose parents don't necessarily have enough money? Well, there were going to be warehouse schools. want to say that again because this is not a term that I made up. This is a term it's a piece of terminology it's jargon that goes with this school choice thing. See, they are creating warehouse schools. What do you do in a warehouse? You store things, and when you need it, you go pick it off the shelf and you ship it. They're storing kids, not educating kids, when they take money out of our public education. I don't understand why people aren't more furious about the fact that we have elected leaders in our state who are willing to sacrifice the future of our state and the education capabilities of our young people, our real resources, are the young people that are coming up in Indiana for the sake of a business and a partnership and a friendship that exists right now. The fact that these folks think that it is all right to take hundreds of millions of dollars out of our public school system, give it to private organizations who have nothing to do with educating children, and then look a teacher in the eye and say, well, you know, we really don't have any money to give y'all any raises this year. No, you don't, because you just gave away $100 million to somebody who was lying to you. Why were they able to get away with lying? Because there's no oversight. There's no oversight. No transparency. Y'all, I want my money back. But now, I will say this, Prosecutor Ryan Mears and his team, they own the case. They are on the case. All this information has been turned over to local prosecutors. Attorney General Curtis Hill, you know, he's still reviewing. He's still trying to decide if this is, do we need that $100 million? Mind you, he's spending money fighting to get rid of, Medicare and Medicaid and health resources, and who cares if people can't afford their prescriptions? He don't care about none of that. He bought a new van so he could travel around the state in. He bought new furniture for his office when he was elected to office. Really, dog? Really, dog? See, real talk. I'm not telling you that every person in our party is perfect, because we recognize that our party is made up of humans. And humans are flawed from the moment they exit the womb. But our party actually has the citizen in mind when we create the policies that we are trying to create. Representative Robin Shackelford is working diligently to try to make insulin no more than $100. She had to fight tooth and nail just to get it in committee. Did it come out of committee? I'm not real sure it did. People, please understand. I know I'm a Democrat. I'm a Democrat for a very good reason, because I know when policies come out from Democrats at every level of government, it really is about the people. We see school choice was never about the student. School choice was like, how can I steal Indiana taxpayer dollars to give it to my homeboy around the way? See, this stuff that y'all getting all bent out of shape of what Trump's saying and Trump doing, man, this ain't nothing new. He's just being bombastic with his. It ain't nothing new. People been lying to us for a long time. He's just being bombastic and tweeting. See, Ms. Daniels at least was clever enough to keep his covert. I ain't really going to tell nobody what I'm doing. I'm not about to, put, media blast about it. I'm just going to infiltrate. We're going to take over the House and Senate, and we're going to pass this legislation. And my boy's about to get busy. See, we know about the tax break that Trump went through, because it's right there. It's in the news. It's at the federal level. It's on MSNBC, CNN, Fox. Everybody talking about it. But nobody talks about what's happening in that state house. And that's why we are in the position that we are in today, where our students, over a million public school students, and the teachers that we charge to mold those minds are the ones suffering. And when you do not create the next generation of scientists and lawyers and doctors and philanthropists and environmentalists for our state, we turn into, that's why we rank at the bottom of every positive statistical category in the nation. That's why we rank at the bottom. We will become Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, and West Virginia if we do not get our stuff together. Now, the beautiful thing is, there's an election this year, and we can elect some folks to actually look out for us. We can elect some real people that understand what's going on and how to make it happen. Y'all, I got two of my returning guests, two homies in the business, two you hard-working ladies who want to make change at both the state house and at the federal level, y'all give it up for my girl, Naomi Bechtold, who's running for House Rep, tell me your district. 24, and D. Thornton, running for Congress in District 5. Welcome, ladies. I know y'all want to chime in on the fact that Indiana and Hoosier taxpayers just lost $100 million. I know you.
It's crazy, especially when there was an amendment to a bill that would have, because we had that huge surplus this year, or $291 million, and an amendment was offered up that would have given teachers a one-time bonus.
Bump, because they could have used it.
They could have absolutely used it, and would have helped to lower prescription drug prices, and my opponent voted against it.
Of course
it's crazy.
Of course he did.
It's a shame. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. But yeah.
But Betsy DeVos is just is
oh my, it's vicious. It's corruption on both ends. I mean, we talk about the state level, at the federal level, you know, they are looking at rolling back all of our loan forgiveness programs, all of our the loan defense funds that protect our students who have college loans against predator lending. I mean, so both of those two are at risk right now, and they are being cut in the new budget that was proposed by the president. And so we're getting it on both ends. We're getting it from the federal level, we're getting it at the state level. When 98% of our students are public school students.
Absolutely.
And we see what's happening to the very 2%.
$100 million.
Yeah.
This is scary stuff, y'all.
It's
scary stuff. But you guys are going to make a change.
Yes, we are.
Y'all going to win y'all's election.
Yes, we are.
And y'all going to make a change. Naomi, tell the people who you are and where they come from. I know this is just your second visit, but tell them, remind them.
Well, so first I've got a confession to make.
What you got?
So I guess it was on here like 2 years ago.
Yes.
And I was terrified.
What?
I mean, oh yeah. I mean, because this was all new to me. I mean, it was. I mean, I always was a political junkie, and so I always followed things. But as far as like microphones and cameras and press and interviews, and then and I really didn't know. I mean, I knew of you, Dana, but as far as like one-on-one kind of interviews, that was just something that was completely new, and I just didn't know what I was to expect, and and it ended up being a great interview.
We had technical difficulties on your
yes,
show, if I don't remember.
Yeah, we did.
So we're going to fix that this time.
She already has fixed it. But anyway, so I mean, a lot of things have happened in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
The reason why it is that I ran to start with was because of the results of the 2016 election. People became activists in so many different ways. And so some people decided, to start organizations like Boone County Voices for Change, that type of thing. But then there were others of us who said, you know what? I don't care if I'm not going to win, because I live in Hamilton County, and everybody always said, oh, Hamilton County, it's red. You're never going to get elected. And so, but I was like, I don't care. I'm not running. Of course, you run to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was my way of having a voice. And so we took what a race was that was, I don't want to say it was a throwaway race, but I was told early on, their numbers aren't there. You're not going to win. Good luck. You're setting it up for the next person.
Right.
And but I was like, this is what it is that I've got to do.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. To see the change over basically the 2 years that I ran. And so we went from what was a throwaway race, glad to have your name on the ballot, to holy cow, we ended up with 42% of the vote.
Yes.
And there was so much.
42.
Yeah, 42. And I remember when I first told, there was a board that I was sitting on, I told the board the fact I was running, and this woman looked at me afterwards and said, I'll have you know, Hamilton County is the reddest, one of the reddest in the country. And so, you don't stand a chance. And I'm like, okay, we'll see about that.
Yeah, I like that attitude, girl.
Oh, yeah.
Bring
And
it.
it's winning. And it's winning. And so I learned so much the first time around. Got to know so many people I wouldn't have otherwise. One of the things that you heard in the suburbs is, oh, I'm the only Democrat. Oh, I didn't know there are other Democrats. And so the camaraderie, finding people that had the same viewpoint that we did, people that wanted to be able to help move Indiana forward, because we see it moving backwards when you talk about it becoming a southern state. I love the South.
My mama buddy Sabe Martin, she told me, she said people see Indiana as the middle finger of the South. We don't fix that. We don't fix that.
That's true. So after the election, I mean, I took a step back. I went to Mexico, and we just decided, let's take a look at this. And we got so much encouragement to run again. I mean, and when we saw the fact that really how the suburbs are flipping from red to blue, and that there just seemed to be so much enthusiasm, I'm like, you know what? I need to give this another shot.
Absolutely. And first of all, let me just say thank you for that, because one of the things that we try to do with Turn Left, there are always first-time candidates. They're not, when I ran against Brian Bosma in 2016, wasn't nobody trying to talk to me.
Right.
There was nobody interviewing me. There was nobody asking me for anything. And this was an avenue, a medium that I wanted to offer, first-time candidates, so they could have an opportunity to have those interviews and hone their chops and do that. So thank you for sharing that story, because that means I'm accomplishing what the real goal is of Turn Left. Not just to glorify me. I don't need all of that. It's all about helping candidates expand themselves. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Because really, I mean, it gave me confidence in the fact that I can do it.
Absolutely. Dee, tell me who you are, where you come from.
I am Dee Thornton. I am Dee Thornton. I am.
Hi, Don.
Yeah.
I know he watches.
Yeah, I know he is. I hope he is. But it's been a journey, but it's been a fabulous one. And I think about Naomi. Naomi will probably remember we were at a training session together in Hamilton County, in Fishers. We were there, and there were a group of women there. We were all kind of in that exploratory mode. It's like, are we going to run? What are we going to do? What's required? We were capturing all this information. And then we both kind of go back, and you kind of assemble it, and you say, okay, is it something that I want to do? Is it something that I can do? Is the family on board? And once you make the decision, you go. And for me, it was a late decision. I didn't make a decision to run in 2018 until January.
January, yeah, I remember.
And, I don't know that I even knew Dana Black. But I was fortunate that you invited me to your studio, and I had an opportunity to meet your listeners and share a little bit about my story. And very similar. I mean, I'm not a career politician. I didn't study to be a politician. My path took me from Head Start as a child to playing basketball in college, and from there,
yeah. I'm a lefty though.
Yeah, and so that was my path, and that was being a child of the '60s. Your parents are saying, get an education, and I'm passionate about public education, and it hurts me to my core to hear what's going on with public education today. And so when we lift all children up, we have a better society. And so that it disturbs me. And I have grandchildren. I will have another child in 2020 as I speak.
Oh, congratulations!
And I had one in 2018 as well. And so our family is expanding. So this couldn't be a more important time to do the work that we're trying to do for future generations.
Absolutely. And I'll be real honest. I mean, I look at public education selfishly, right? I don't have any children. Right, I don't have any children. But Lord willing, I'm going to keep getting old. I'm going to keep growing. I'm going to keep living. Yes. That means when I go to my assisted living place, because I'm going to be a Mac in the assisted living, I'm going to go, I'm going to be pimping. I'm going to be pimping in my in the assisted living place. I'm going to need the folks that are giving me my medication to know how to read the prescription themselves and the amount of dosage that I'm supposed to have so they don't hurt me and mess up my pimp game while I'm, macking in the nursing home. But real talk, it's selfish because I don't have children. So I know when I get older, I'm going to need assistance. And I want whoever is assisting me to have had an education where they can actually problem solve. Yes. Where they can think critically. Think critically, and not believe just any old nonsense that comes spewing out of these computer screens or these phones. Right. It's so, y'all, it's just, I'm flabbergasted at the idea that people are writing legislation to harm the future of this nation.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
But Dana, when you look at always been, it's not been a pretty thing in this country.
No, it's
It has
not.
never been a pretty thing.
Did you want to? It's Black History Month. Feel free to go.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's never been. And, you know, when you go back in history and you understand, you know, segregation and desegregation and how far we have come, and now we have such a fragmented system. When you think about it, when we have public schools, private schools, parochial schools, voucher schools, charter schools, virtual schools, home schools, I mean, you wonder how in the world are we supposed to be successful? How is there some consistency in delivery?
Mm-hmm.
And how are we going to have successful outcomes when we are that fractured? And then when you hear that there's corruption, there's theft, that we are using it as a money-making option, every parent, grandparent, every citizen should be extremely concerned.
Absolutely. I have a libertarian friend who lives up in Hamilton County, and I appreciate him because he's honest about how he believes, and we're friendly with each other. And he believes that, you know what, no regulations. He doesn't want to see any regulations to anything because, you know, the free market will solve everything. This is a prime example of where you let people just run willy-nilly, they will take advantage of the situation. This is a prime example. And I try to tell him all the time, you have removed the human element out of this. Because some humans are just corrupt.
They're corrupt. And to your point, there are people, we've been having these huddles where we talk about different topics. And in our education huddles, matter of fact, we have people from both sides, and we openly discuss the issue. And the big issue that came out in the last one was, well, what do you think about just eliminating the Department of Education? And, you know, you just read the faces in the room. And, you know, you had to kind of educate people that if you have no oversight, human nature, people will do things to destroy the system.
Well, today's a perfect example.
Yeah.
I mean, of them finding out the fact that this $88 million is gone.
Right.
I mean, and it's because there's no transparency. There's the same rules and regulations that cover public education do not cover charter schools.
Exactly.
And so if you're not going to have that, I mean, sure, it's like, oh, there's $88 million. You know, look the other way, and there the money goes.
But here's the other part to that $88 million, right? So the investigation discovered that there was $88 million gone, but how much did the investigation cost?
Right.
How much?
Well, that's not over.
Right. And how much is it going to cost to prosecute and try to get this money back?
And you won't get it all
See,
back.
the expense for us as Hoosier taxpayer continues to balloon the more you, and then you ask yourself, is it worth it? We've already seen the reports that say voucher schools, charter schools don't fare any better than our public schools. So why have multiple systems? Like you said, we can have some consistency and have one system.
Right.
I'm telling you, we got to fix this now. Of course, now Betsy, the boss, is a thief. I've been telling people that for the longest. She's a thief. Ooh, Lord, she a thief. She done robbed all of the schools in Michigan. Now she's robbing the schools in all 50 states. She's a thief. Just because she's, you know, an older, wealthy white woman in America don't mean she can't be a thief. She's been stealing from our future for a long time now. So, all right, let's talk about, I can go on with that for days because they done riled me up today.
Well, you know, it's just that education, I mean, it comes back to what Dee said, is the most important issue that faces us because of what's going to happen with our future. And, you know, and part of me thinks the reason why is you see so much bad, legislation happening with education is because they don't want those kids educated.
No, they
Because
don't.
when you're not educated, then you're much more likely to follow the leader.
Well, someone said, I love the uneducated. Someone said that.
But also when you're poorly educated, that means I can keep my wages low.
Right.
And see, again, y'all connect the dots.
Right.
If my education attainment standards in the state of Indiana are not, you know, equitable to the surrounding states, that means those people that and we're a right to work state. That means I can pay you, and we refuse to look at the minimum wage because of the supermajority in our state house at $7. I don't know what anybody can do with $7 an hour. No, I don't. You can't.
$7.25.
So now, listen. They are justifying not giving people a livable wage by not giving them the education they need to pull themselves by this mythical bootstrap, which I still ain't figured out where I get me one of them, and I got like 7 pair of cowboy boots. Anyway, so again, it's a, you can tell me about the unemployment rate is 3.5, and we're better than all of our surrounding states, but people are having to work 2 and 3 jobs just to keep a roof over their head because $7. I just don't get where the humanity has gone. I mean, I can't get.
Well, I mean, the House passed. I think it's HR 582. That was the equal pay.
Yeah.
And that passed the House.
Yeah.
For us to gradually move from $7.25 up to $15 an hour, gradually every 2 years there's an increment. That is one of the many bills that is sitting on the desk of the Senate, Mitch McConnell, right now, that should be reviewed and should be passed. We have states who've already moved to a 15-hour rate.
Yes, and they're doing fine.
And they're doing fine. I talk to high school students 2 or 3 days a week, and I'll talk about budgeting, and we'll budget, and we'll baseline. We'll use $7.25, and some of the kids will say, "Well, I make more than $7.25," and I said, "Yes, I paid my babysitter more than $7.25.
Mm-hmm.
I paid my babysitter probably $10 an hour, and that was probably 20 years ago."
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So you're probably paying. You may be getting paid $10 an hour, but you're a part-time worker. You're working 2 or 3 hours. Okay, that is not a livable wage. So after we run through this exercise, you'll see how far will that go as you now want to leave the house, do your own thing, get your own place, and live your own life.
Right.
You're going to find that you can't. You cannot survive.
And so what happens when people get desperate, right? I'm connecting the dots. What happens when people get desperate, financially desperate? Sometimes they make really, really bad decisions. When they make bad decisions, guess what goes up? Our crime rates go up.
Sure.
Public safety, Naomi, public safety is one of the big, big things that everybody wants to talk about, especially in Marion County. They want to talk about, or in Lake County, or Allen County, or Vanderbilt County. They want to talk about public safety and how we reduce the crime rates. Talk about, the intersectionality between how people are able to sustain themselves in crime.
There's so much research that shows the fact that, your financial health affects your physical health, and it affects your economic health.
All of it.
Pardon me?
We ain't got the health.
No, we haven't got to get there. Well, not even, just your when you think about if you ever had a major bill that you've got to worry about paying, it keeps you up at night.
Yeah.
And if that's every single night, the physical stress. So, so that's one part. But then as far as your economic health, you got to pay your bills. You got to do something. So how are you going to get that money? And so, of course, it leads some people to
make poor decisions.
Make poor decisions. And so
because they haven't been educated on how to critically think, because
education. Education is linked to everything. You would not have people who are denying climate change if they have been properly educated.
What is that? But see, I think when they are publicly denying it, they just saying it again for economic reasons. If I can convince enough people that if I tell a lie often enough, people will believe it's true.
Believe it. That's true. They will. And we're witnessing that.
Oh my God, I can't even say we're living in unprecedented times because this, unfortunately, is not new. Unfortunately, it is not new. We've just not seen it where every demographic of the United States is being impacted. We have seen, come on, how many times has the United States created a treaty with an indigenous nation only to say, nah, we really didn't mean that. We're not really going to give you that. We just said we might. How many times, has our federal government said, well, you know what, Brown v. Board of Education, that means black folk got to have the same education as white folk, but then the local community shut down the school systems and gave the white parents vouchers, and black kids for 2-3 years didn't have a place to go. See, unfortunately, when you aren't aware of the historical badness, because we hear all the propaganda. propaganda, right? I mean, I got it too. I remember what age I was when I realized that I had been indoctrinated. I went to North Central. Oh my goodness, I went to a good school. You know, I was, you know, we were fortunate. You know, I had a mommy and a daddy, and we both were in the house, and you know, and I had a dog, all of that. So, and I thought Officer Friendly was really friendly. Yeah. You know, and that he was here to help me. He's here to help me. I remember the age when I realized that I had been indoctrinated to believe that everything about America is great, because I was never really shown the other side. There's two sides of every story. And if you don't actually share that other side of the story and recognize what the real problem is, how can you solve it?
And I mean, that's one of the things that I think that is great about being a Democrat, is that we are the voice for the voiceless.
Yes.
And you're not gonna see that from the other side. You know, I have never been so proud to be a Democrat as I am now.
Oh, say it again. I'll wake up in the morning and say it's a good day to be a Democrat.
It's a good day. It's a good day. Speak it.
Yeah.
And so some people, to your point earlier, you said that there were not that many Democrats in Hamilton County. I surmise that there's more than anyone ever thought.
Yes.
I agree.
But
yes.
I think our candidacies have brought them out of the closet.
Right?
They have not been voting. They've not been voting, or they've gone to vote, and I am one of them. I will not deny myself the opportunity to vote. And if there is not a single Democrat on the ballot, I'm still going to vote, because I think that is my responsibility as a citizen. I still should exercise my right to vote. But when you have more people that are running, when you have strong candidates that are doing that missionary work, you're going to have more people to come out and vote. I firmly believe that my candidacy brought out an additional 30,000 people to vote. It did not come out the year before.
Right.
Okay? And so that's hitting a constituent group that says, okay, I'm in. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to support a candidate, and I'm going to get behind her.
Absolutely.
And every time we run, we're going to bring more people out.
Well, not to mention the population in Hamilton County, Boone County, it's growing.
Yep.
It's growing. And what happens when you have more people? It turns blue.
Exactly.
You know, the smaller the communities, the redder they are, the larger the communities, the bluer they are. So thank you, Hamilton County, for building all them houses and making the highway, because, you know, there was that white flight thing. But now everybody's flighting. Everybody, if they can pay the mortgage, they flighting.
But Dana, here's the real deal. The reason why Hamilton County is growing is that Madison County is declining. And Marion County is sliding into Hamilton County for good public schools. Yeah. So again, we go back to education. So you have to understand why you see this growth in Hamilton County. It is growing because there is something systematically changing in the bordering counties that are causing people to come there. Okay. So that's a large part of it. It's not like people are just moving from all parts of the country coming in. And there is some. That's what brought me in to Hamilton County. I was part of a relocation and transition for a career. But a lot of it is people are relocating from bordering counties.
And you know what is scary about that, especially, Naomi, this will be something that you'll have to tackle when you go to the House. The state of Indiana is projected to have a population increase, right? But we have over 50 counties that are speculated to have a population decrease, which means that those counties won't be able to generate the revenue that they will need, because you just don't have the tax-paying citizens to accommodate the needs that they have to take care of, roads and education, hospital, all that. Oh, there are counties in Indiana that don't even have a hospital, which is like unfathomable to me that somebody would have to go an hour if they are emergent. But when you're in the State House, you're going to have to figure out, as part of the budget, how do we take care of what will be considered, and I know those people in those small counties, they don't like it, what are considered welfare counties. You know, how will you what are some of the things and some of the ideas that you may have to say, okay, look, Indianapolis and some of and the donor counties are growing, but how do we address the needs?
Well,
right?
first thing you do is you make sure they all have broadband.
Hello.
Because
IT chick agrees with you.
Yeah. Well, seriously, I mean, because it's not a level playing field,
right. And
it all starts with, having access, and given the fact there's so much online education now, if they can't.
It's not these virtual schools.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it.
We have telemedicine, we have other things,
Yeah.
but it's just not that, but you have to have broadband so that people can just function day to day. We take it for granted that we can go to a McDonald's and get online. I remember doing parades in 2018, and I'm up in Grant County, or I'm up, and you got your phone, you try to take some pictures, and you want to post it to Facebook? No.
And
It's
that's
like,
just, you
really?
just wouldn't imagine.
No,
Because
you would
like,
not imagine.
yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a different world.
Because but see, that is a part of the infrastructure
Absolutely.
negligence
Yep.
that's happening in Indiana.
Right.
When people talk about infrastructure, they always talk about roads and bridges, but they don't consider all the other aspects of what our infrastructure is.
So part of the problem, Dana, is that you hear the Republicans talk so much about we've got a AAA rating, our tax structure is so low, we're a business-friendly climate. But because our tax structure is so low, and we are a business-friendly climate, we're not getting those infrastructure dollars. We're not getting those education dollars. Our roads, though they're improving than they were last year.
And our roads are improving because we are still reaping the benefits of the stimulus that was passed 4 or 5 years ago, okay, from the federal government. A lot
It's not
of
because we raised it, right.
Yeah, so it's just, and then the other thing is too, here it is, the Republicans are pushing so much, come to Indiana, but then you look at like the Amazons of the world. They didn't come to Indiana, even though we had low taxes. Instead, they go to one of the most expensive taxes in New York.
And Washington, D.C.
And Washington, D.C.
Mhm.
And so what is that saying? It comes back to, well, you know what we'll do? We'll send those low-wage jobs to Indiana. And so that's what we're getting.
Well, a part of that also was about quality of life. Some businesses actually care about the livelihood of their employees
And that's the other thing.
and their employees' spouses.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
why would I come there if I have a top-notch employee who's gay and go to Indiana and they're married and they might not find housing?
Exactly right. And so, this is a real, this is why you see so much of the Chamber of Commerce, the tech companies are behind making sure, let's not have another RIFRA. And, we're having a hard time getting millennials to come in here because they're like, why would I go there? I'll pay more in taxes so I can make sure that I'm going to have a higher quality of life. You're exactly right.
48th in the nation. Brian Bosma's legacy. He's retiring. His legacy as Speaker of the House. 48th in the nation, quality of life. I'm just saying.
In pollution.
Ugh.
And that's so important to our next generation
Absolutely. So you guys are out here fighting. You're having these conversations, right? Has much changed in what the needs of your constituents since you ran 2 years ago?
For me, because I have 8 counties, and so when you have 8 counties and you have the urban, suburban, and the rural, it's very different. So the education need in Marion County is a little different from Hamilton County, and then if I go to Madison, Grant, Tipton, it's very different because the rural communities, the education is totally different. I can take every issue, and it's a little bit different from county to county. And I always talk about the Big Five. The Big Five are education, it's healthcare, it's the environment, it's gun reform, and it's immigration.
Come on.
And in 2018, I have to tell you, environment was a little lower on the list. Now it's number 2. Healthcare is still number 1. It's still number 1 all over the country, followed really closely by the environment.
And then people want to have a place to exist on this planet. People trying to go to Mars. I really don't want to go to Mars. Yeah. I would still like my beachfront. I would like there to be a beach somewhere for me to go to. I don't want to go to Mars. That's a white flight that I'm not interested in.
You're not interested in being on that ship that goes.
No, man. I've seen Total Recall.
That's what Space Force is going to.
Girl, baby.
I was trying to remember what the term was.
You gotta make sure stuff. The Space Force logo is the same thing as the Starship.
Yes, it's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Come on.
So the issues those are the Big Five, but then, the pocketbook issues is jobs and fair wages, and opportunities to build a good life. That's really what people want.
Yeah. Naomi, what are you seeing?
So I only have 2 counties, and it's Hamilton and it's Boone, and it's a And
Right,
so
right.
the issues haven't changed. It's all about education. As Dee had said, they come to Hamilton and Boone counties because of the high quality public education. And so it's education, so paying your teachers and keeping your kids safe at home and at school. And so this whole thing about arming teachers is just, it's mind-boggling, and nobody wants that.
That's a whole other responsibility that you're trying to give teachers, but you don't want to give them a raise.
Right, exactly. So let's make sure they know how to handle a gun.
Yeah. Oh. Yes.
So it's about public education, paying our teachers, and making sure that our and you know, it's not just keeping our kids safe, it's keeping our families safe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, so mental health, but then also having reasonable gun sense reform.
Absolutely. So those are interesting. Very interesting. Even though your county, your two counties, and the area that you're running in is obviously much smaller than a congressional district, the issues are overlapping.
Yes.
Oh yeah, sure.
And even in more affluent areas, they recognize, like, look, if we don't take care of these other areas, you know, I tell people all the time, crime travels.
Yep.
You know, and what was so funny when Hamilton County, and more specifically Fishers, at the last hour ended the rapid transit proposal that was happening, the pushback on the rapid transit was because people in the community didn't really want all those others. And Fishers, and I used to tell people all the time, yes, because when I steal your 55-inch color television, I'm taking it on public transportation.
Right.
Because I'm wise like that. I'm gonna come in, break in your house. I'm gonna snatch it off the wall, and then I'm gonna get on public transportation and take it back home. I just don't want to. I mean, there's not
incredible.
Right. There's not an imaginary line
Right.
for crime to not, you know. But when we don't take into consideration the importance that having mass transit has on the environment, the fact that we refuse to even have the conversation, you know, yay for the red line and some of the other things, but that's the beginning. We've got real structural issues that we must address. And you guys are like at the front line of that.
So much of it, though, Dana, is the problem is that so many of our legislators are from rural counties, and so they're not seeing the same kind of issues that we've got, and so their feeling is, you know, this is not a kitchen table issue for us. So I mean, I don't care about mass transit. I don't care about and there's an oversized presence in the state legislature of rural legislators, and so they end up driving so much of our legislation, and it affects us when we're the ones who are actually paying for them. I mean, from our tax
because
revenue.
they're welfare counties.
Right.
I remember going to the Indiana Association of Elected County Officials last year, and one of the discussions was about rural Indiana and the needs and the things that needed to be addressed. And when when they were finishing taking questions, I was like, y'all know y'all have state legislators that represent you in the state house. What are y'all doing to have those conversations with us? Because they had a whole laundry list of needs for rural Indiana. But their elected officials are not addressing those things.
They don't need to.
They don't, but see, and that's what I'm saying. They actually do need to.
I know they do.
Because they have a community that's saying, hey, see us, we need stuff. But they're just ignoring them.
Because they can.
Yeah.
Because they keep getting elected.
They keep getting elected. You know, people, go ahead, you had something to say.
Well, I just think we need, you know, I came from a real rural community. I mean, I'm a rural country girl. I mean, I was a 4-H'er, okay? And we didn't have pigs. Yeah, we didn't have pigs and cows, but I was a 4-H'er. I mean, but my 4-H experience, I was in cooking and sewing, and I was in public speaking. But those are
the only activity I would have enjoyed.
Those are lifetime skills. I mean, and I serve on the extension. I serve on the 4-H extension board for Madison County. I'm a small town girl, and I believe in small towns. Not to say that I don't like cities, but we must have a revitalization of small towns. And we're starting to see it. When I go into the small communities inside the 5th district, we see some revitalization. There are some monies coming in to do some things, to have some affordable housing for seniors, to have recovery facilities for those who are suffering as a part of this opioid epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
Because the opioid epidemic is hitting the rural communities
Way
much
more.
harder
Mhm.
than it is our urban communities.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
contrary to popular belief.
No, well, actually,
Okay.
you know what? Honestly, the opioid crisis is one of those times where racism worked out. I mean, real talk. I mean, because y'all know I'm telling the truth. Look, the black folk would go in, talk about their pain, and the doctors be like, "You ain't really hurting. I'm gonna give you some Tylenol versus some Vicodin."
They did prescribe.
Right.
That's true.
And now, you know, it was, I mean, one of those times when racism worked out in our favor. It's systematic racism. But I can't think of another one, so don't act like it's a good idea. Don't act like it. Don't come for me. So, okay, all right, I wanna switch gears because, you know, we know the issues, and a lot of our listeners know the issues. Education, you know, healthcare, infrastructure, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna ask y'all to be motivational speakers right now. All right? Ladies, we still only make up about 22% of the elected officials in our government. Oh, look at you, just go. I ain't gonna say that. Go ahead.
Part of the issue when it comes to women is that they wait for someone to ask them to run.
Yeah.
Don't wait. You've got to just decide you want to do it yourself. And you know, you hear, oh, I've been thinking about it, but I don't know. And the thing is that doesn't get us anywhere. It's sort of, I mean, it's like in corporate America, you're not going to, women need to be able to get up there in front of their supervisor and say, you know what, I'm worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that so-and-so over there is getting paid twice as much as I am, and I'm doing twice the work. I'm worth it. And it works in politics as well, is that the only way that we're going to be able to get ahead is by making sure the fact that there's more women who are actually saying, I'm worth it, I can make a difference, and so consequently I'm going to run. When you look at Hamilton County, I mean, just as far as the state rep positions goes, I mean, Hamilton County,
Ladies all across the board.
it's sweet.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Motivate these ladies to run for office.
So, yes, we should run. I mean, we have two females who are serving in the federal government at a congressional level. So we have Congresswoman Brooks and Jackie Walorski, both Republicans. The Republicans were supposed to be building their, bench to bring more in. I think that was a charter of Congresswoman Brooks, but now she's retiring. We need more women who will step up and who will run and that will get the necessary mentoring. It's one thing to say, I want to run, but I will tell you, as a first-time candidate, I stepped up and I said, hey, I'm going to run. Just keep your eyes wide open. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. But what women tend to do is under and downplay their skills and their competencies. So you have to know, and I've been reading a wonderful book by, what's her name, Brzezinski, she's on Mika. Mika has a wonderful book called Know Your Value.
Know your values.
And if you know your value, then you step out and you do it and do not look back. And so my mission is to encourage more women to run, to get into politics, so to speak. And I don't like to necessarily call it politics. I think it's getting into government and understanding how government works and how good, strong policy can make a difference in someone's life. Absolutely. And I feel like I have benefited from very good, strong policy that was put in place many years ago from what I would call principled leaders. So when I look at it, my campaign is really all about being a principled leader and demonstrating principled leadership, and that's about serving with honesty and integrity and meeting with people. It's about being accessible and accountable, and I believe accountability extends not just to government, but to businesses and individuals. And then finally, we need to focus on family-centric policies that lifts up everyone.
Regardless how the family's made up.
That's right.
All right, I'm gonna hit you with one more, and I don't mean to leave you out, Naomi, so forgive me on this one. Talk about the importance of women of color getting involved in this process, especially as Democrats.
Oh my gosh, we have always been involved. Women of color have always been involved in the process, always, since the beginning of the time. But we have, our role has been a little bit behind the scenes. I'm saying, sister, claim your space. We have broken the glass ceiling in terms of the corporate world. I worked for a corporation that had one of the first black female CEOs in the country, and Ursula Burns at Xerox Corporation.
Yes, Ursula.
We have an incredible opportunity to lend our talents in government, and we have had some fabulous trailblazers.
Absolutely.
Already.
Oh,
okay,
my God.
we have had some fabulous.
Come on,
we can go on the list.
Auntie Maxine, we got,
yeah.
And look, in November of 2016, she said impeach him. He needs to be impeached. I was like, dang, Auntie Maxine, he took his oath yet. Sure, she was just, but what happens, see, I think sometimes what happens is, I'm probably going to get in trouble for what I'm about to say, so y'all don't have to echo it. Just let me go and take that, right? I think sometimes our party talks a good talk about wanting to make sure that we include more women and that we include more people of color and more women of color. But what ends up happening coming out, especially like when we see at the presidential level right now, that all the people of color are gone. Because with Andrew Yang stepping out, there are no more people of color. And the two women are barely hanging on. And I think there needs to be a real introspective discussion in our party about, you know what, bruh, it ain't your time. Let somebody else. I know this is what you want to do. And I know you're excited about running for the seat. But do you know a person of color? Or do you know a woman? And we have to be deliberate about making sure that we are an inclusive party. Again, y'all ain't got to echo that. Now, I mean, I'll take the heat on that one. But sometimes I don't think that we are being as deliberate as we need to be. We encourage people to run, but sometimes we don't say to that 70-plus-year-old white guy, babe, come on. Yes, we love you. But it's time to give somebody else an opportunity. I'm not saying that Biden or Bernie needs to go anywhere, so don't y'all be blowing up my feed. I'm just saying, as Democrats, I think we need to be more deliberate in our effort, not just recruit, but to help them fundraise, right? I mean, Cory Booker and Kamala Harris needed the better infrastructure. That's one of the reasons why they couldn't. Some of the best workers need to go and be deliberate about helping these candidates. That was just a little something that was in my brain. I ain't ready to go no more.
Well, I think to build upon that, I think what we're also witnessing is an incredible amount of money that is being infused into our political process. And until we change campaign finance and do campaign finance reform, the person who is a genius that has incredible ideas but doesn't have the bankroll will never have an opportunity to serve. We will be served by only the filthy rich. Absolutely. Because that's the message that we're sending. That's the message we're sending, is that the one who raises the most money is the one that is best equipped to serve. And I think that's a horrible message to send. And voters have to not buy into that. Okay? It takes voters to not buy into that. Yeah. And it takes candidates that are mobilizing people in communities to get civically engaged, to go vote, to work for a candidate, to speak their truth. And it's not going to happen at the national level. No. Bloomberg and Bernie are not going to come to my neighborhood. No. They're not going to knock on my doors or Elizabeth Warren or any of them. No. But we have to have groups of people who are in it and are passionate about change. People are saying, I don't know why we're not taking it to the streets right now. I don't know why we're not taking it to the streets. Exactly. Only until
we taking it to the airwaves. That's what we're doing.
Only until people really speak up do we start to have change. Case in point, in 2018 when I ran the first time, there was very low support of common sense gun reform, like in the 40s. Yeah. And I've always been for it. Yeah. Now, when you do it, when you look and evaluate it now, 90% of Americans are for common sense.
Because they don't want their child gunned down in school.
90% is for that.
I'm going to be real with you, though. When they shot up the babies at Sandy Hook and nobody did a thing, They shot up little white babies in suburban America, and they didn't make a change. Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying, what is more motivating than children losing their lives? I'm not talking.
So, I mean, all this does say, I don't have much time we got left. But
We got all the time in the world. It's my show.
Okay.
Right, I love
That's a
it.
benefit. What that does is just shows why it is so important to get involved at the local and state level.
Absolutely.
Because that's where change is going to take place.
Absolutely. The power is in the
The
state
power
house.
is at the State House. And people are beginning to get that idea, but it really, it starts right here at home.
It does.
And one of the best.
Become precinct committee people.
That's right. You know, it doesn't have to be that you run for office.
Right.
But become a precinct committee person. You know, start going to monthly Democratic meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, I am so thrilled to see that in Hamilton County, that not only do we now have a county party, but we now have clubs in
Yes.
all of the major cities in the county. That's pretty awesome.
Yes.
You know, shout out to all the individuals from Carmel, Fishers, Noblesville, North and West. I mean,
Everywhere.
Right. And then, I mean, we have a really vibrant Boone County Democratic Party. So,
yes. And indivisible groups up there too.
I mean, there's so many different ways. And so, people first think when they're hearing about, you know, oh, do I have to get involved? Do I have to go and knock on doors? No, all you need to do first is go and be present.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and start listening to people like us.
Yes.
And then it's like, you know what? I really would like to be able to I feel like I can make a phone call, or I feel like I could write a postcard. Those are just.
Or I can host a fundraiser.
I can host a fundraiser. I can do these things for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and what you're doing then is you're not just, I feel then that you then as a volunteer have a voice.
Absolutely.
And you're helping to make that change.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Because this is, you know, bottom line is, this grand experiment was about citizens governing themselves. This is a citizen government. If we decide to check out, then we are allowing things to happen to us instead of creating things to happen for us. And if you guys don't, now listen, one of the things that I know we need to do is, because they don't teach it in school anymore, we got to do specific training, and I know the constituency caucuses of the state party, we are working to collaborate, the Latino caucus, IDAC, which is the African American caucus, Stonewall, the gay caucus, you know, young Democrats, you know, we're all coming together to create these civic engagement and training, because like a lot of people don't even understand how the process works, right? They don't understand that the price that they pay for milk was predicated by policy. How did it get there? And so we, you know, that's one of the things that we're trying to do is come together and try to alleviate all the responsibility on the state party, because there's finite resources. So we have to be able to say, I want to give a little bit more. I'm going to give a little bit of my time. I'm going to give up a Saturday, you know, once a quarter, so I can teach citizens how this government works. Because the bottom line, the more of us that are involved in the process, then a lot of the things that we are talking about, we will be able to change. We are the change makers. We are the change
You know,
makers.
case in point, when you have a constituent say, I just hate that Affordable Care Act, but I love my HIP 2.0.
Because they don't understand.
We have a real problem.
Yeah,
Right.
Or I hate Obamacare, but I like affordable health care, the ACA,
Yeah.
you know, all of that.
Okay,
All of
so
that.
we have to continually, because, you know, there are people going to put a good name on it, sounds good, but is it good?
No, exactly. So, all right, so tell the people where they can find you, Naomi, so they can donate to your campaign, because you are all fired up to win in 2020.
Yes, ma'am. Bechtoldforindiana.com. And I'm also on Facebook as well. Just look up Naomi Bechtold. And so donations, volunteering, anything that you can do to help move us, to help break the supermajority in the state of Indiana is going to be a huge benefit for you, the constituent.
Absolutely. Tell people where they can find you. Because you have a hotly contested primary race.
I do, but you know what? Competition makes you better.
And that is.
All right, so bring it. We need to know how to compete.
Wait a minute, you look like you just grabbed your shorts right there. You said in the middle of the pink talking about bring it.
Bring it. That makes us better. It does. It makes you fight. So go to D. Thornton for Congress. That's a website. Check it out. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Twitter is Vote Thornton. I invite all of your listeners to come to an event that we have scheduled on February the 23rd.
Excellent.
It is called Celebrate Our Power.
Okay.
And we are going to honor and recognize those women who have paved the way as a part of the 100th celebration of women's suffrage. And then we have a panel discussion around the top 5 issues. But we're going to take those 5 issues and we're going to spin them so that when you leave there, you're going to know, what does healthcare mean to me as a female, as a mother? What does the environment mean? So we're going to take those and spin it. We got some wonderful guest speakers. It is on February 23rd, 3 to 5 o'clock at the Rich Charles. It is free. It is free and open to the public. So just come.
Naomi, you got any fundraisers or anything happening?
I have lots of fundraisers.
Oh, well,
actually.
go on, jump on there now.
Oh, but they're in the process.
Okay.
I mean, they're
No dates yet. No dates yet. All right, that's all right.
But look, if you're in Westfield, there's probably going to be one the end of March. We're looking at the 22nd of March. I don't want to yet say where it's going to be because we're still talking to the organization. But that type of thing will absolutely be on all my social media, and I too am on Twitter, and we're on Instagram, and you'll see it on our website as well. So we've got 5 that we are in the process of setting up. Yeah, and more to come.
All right. So let's check this out, y'all. I know Dee has a hotly contested primary race that she's in right now, but I know she could use some volunteers right now. If you like what she's talking about and what she's bringing to the table, help her out. You know, help her out. We are lucky. We have amazing Democrats running for office in the 5th Congressional District. But if you like what she's bringing to the table, find Dee Thornton. Make sure that you volunteer. Make sure you make some phone calls. Host a fundraiser for her. Whatever you can do to help her win in that district. And Naomi's going to be, you don't have a primary opponent, right?
Nope.
No primary opponent. So that means, she's going to be tapping y'all all the way to November the 4th. So door knocking, volunteering, fundraisers, whatever it is, because you got to get those mailers out. You got to get that information out. So please, 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 these are quality candidates. I'm not talking about just somebody that wants to put their face up on a poster because they think they're cute. These are intelligent women who understand policies. They understand the impact that policies have on lives. I love these Democrats right here, and I think they both know it. I love these two. It's what's up. All right, don't forget, there's still time for you to apply for the census. They are paying $25 an hour. If you want to, the census is way.
Oh, wow, I might sign up. I need some extra money for the campaign.
Well, you know what? You can canvass, do census, and then.
I canvass it. Can I mix it up?
We ain't going to do that because that's not who we are. But if you, listen, the census is way too important. We talk about funding and all of those things. You have to be counted. Who was it? Claudia Fuentes. I had her on last week. She shot me a link, and I was able to watch a webinar about some of the tactics and some of the things that we can do to encourage our Latino community to stay involved. Listen, because they feel attacked, and our immigrants feel attacked. They feel like they're afraid, they can't be counted. But we have to make sure all of our communities are counted. So if y'all get involved, I've already put my application in. I'm just waiting for a call back. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, the census is way too important. You talk about those redistricting lines, census. You talk about funding in your community, the census. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all. Indiana's own Dana Black, turn left. Thank you so much, Naomi. Thank you so much, Dee, for joining us. Y'all, the lineup is fat. I'm telling you, we are bringing you candidates from all over the state that want to talk about why they want to represent you in your district, in your area. Continue to check us out. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will catch y'all next week. Peace.